When I opened the package that had this new drugstore makeup collection inside last night, it took everything in my power not to dive in right away, but I knew that I wanted to play with it for the first time with you on camera. Today, we're gonna be checking out the new Wet n Wild Marilyn Monroe collection. So this does seem to be like a holiday release, but it's evergreen in that it's not super Christmassy. It really focuses on a classic beauty look. So I'm so excited to open this up. Let's get started. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my channel where we talk all things budget beauty. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. Okay, so opening up this collection, there's definitely holiday vibes, and it did come with this little red hair bow as well. So there's definitely a nod to holiday, but I feel like these products are gonna be really easy to work into your routine year round. I already have foundation and brows on, so let's move on to the first eye product in this collection. We have the Marilyn and Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette. Really, really cute packaging, and it does seem like a pretty neutral eyeshadow palette. Now, this is not labeled Color Icon palette, but this looks very similar to the Wet n Wild Color Icon palettes. In fact, it looks a lot like the one called Walking on Eggshells, which I have. Hold on, let's compare. Okay, yeah, so I have them both in front of me now. The packaging is exactly the same between this Marilyn one and their normal permanent eyeshadow palettes. So we have the Marilyn one on top and Walking on Eggshells on the bottom. Now there are two main differences I'm seeing that actually make me think I might prefer the Marilyn one, because while this is a classic palette from Wet n Wild, I always have like two main complaints about it, and that's that this like mid-toned brown is shimmery and not matte, so you don't really get too much of a transition color. This one is like exactly my skin tone, so it doesn't show up on me. I'm gonna apply my About Face eye primer first. All right, I'm gonna go into that mid-toned brown first, and you know what? I think I'm gonna create the look I wish that I could create with Walking on Eggshells. So that is gonna go in and above my crease as a transition. So far, this feels like the normal Color Icon formula, which is one of my favorites at the drugstore. I would say easily top 2 or 3, especially for the price. The quality that you get is incredible. And they've always been that way since like those first little trios that they sold back in the day. Next, dipping into the matte darker brown. I'm really trying to concentrate the color in that upper crease. Now you may look at this eyeshadow palette and say, this looks so basic and neutral, especially because it looks like something that Wet n Wild already has out. But when you think about the theme of like Marilyn and like the classic, simple, old Hollywood makeup look that she's kind of known for, this makes sense. And at least I'm glad that it's a little bit different and they didn't just repackage something they already had. Now we can keep it understated and go into the satiny beige all over the lid, keep it very neutral looking, or go into this beautiful glam metallic that I know is gonna make a popping statement. What do we think? We're gonna go for the metallic. I always think these types of formulas do better with the finger. I like it. Oh, you know when you get that first tap gasp? That it's gonna be a gorgeous shade. Yes! Okay, I think I officially like this palette better than Walking on Eggshells, which is crazy because I've been using Walking on Eggshells, like every version that they've put out since it was a trio and then it was a quad and now it's a 5-pan. I've been using that since like middle school. I like these shades better. I just feel like they're a little more flattering on me because this isn't super pink. It's like, what would you call this shade? There is definitely a pink undertone to it, but it's not as rosy pink. It's just simple but elegant, and I feel like that's super on brand for a Marilyn Monroe themed makeup collection. All right, I will go into this white shade. I'm a little nervous about it because it seems so stark, but I want to add that as my inner corner highlight. I'll just be a little more light-handed with it. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the white in contrast with all of these warmer tones because it's definitely a cooler highlight. I don't know how I feel about that. I just don't think it matches. Do you? All right, I'm gonna keep it a little more subtle than I even planned on. I think I am gonna keep it off of my brow bone because we have face highlights that I think would look better on my brow bone. So that is the Marilyn eyeshadow palette. Let's move on. We have 3 eyeliners as part of this Marilyn Monroe collection. The first 2 are just retractable pencil eyeliners. We have one in brown. Ooh, oh, okay. Very soft formula that I actually broke the tip off. Great. Let me just finish that swatch. Wow, that is a very creamy pigmented formula. Really, really pretty. It doesn't quite seem like their breakup proof formula. Much creamier and more gel-like than that. And then we have white, trying to be a little bit more light-handed here. Super opaque white gel eyeliner formula. Yeah, I would suggest keeping it as retracted as possible. Otherwise, the tip will snap off. It's very soft. But then we have this dual-ended liquid eyeliner. We have a felt tip, looks pretty standard. The other side is a brush tip. Interesting. I wonder why. What is the purpose of having both a felt tip and a brush tip? Because y'all know I prefer a brush tip. So very excited to see this side, but I don't see why I would want the felt side. Did they just like not come to a decision which type of product they wanted to make? One end features a fine brush tip while the other features a soft felt tip for customizable application. Okay, I guess they just wanted to kind of cater to everybody's preferences here. It's kind of weird to me, but okay. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to tight line with the brown liner. Ooh, yeah, that's gliding onto the waterline really nicely. This would also be a great liner to just smoke out and do like a smoky wing with. But I really wanna test this liquid liner. All right, I will definitely be using the brush side. Let's see if we can just get a nice little thin wing. Oh, wow. A lot of product is coming out. No drag at all so far. I mean, that really dispensed product well with the least amount of pressure. Now I gotta be careful. Okay, I gotta shut up. That is really sharp and precise. Even though I love this side, I do want to test the felt tip side for the girlies who prefer felt. It just does not seem as sharp. You know what I mean? But let's try it. This has a little bit more friction and tug with the skin than the brush. I feel like the brush bristles really glide over your skin and it doesn't catch on your lid or any folds that you have in your lid. And this definitely just tugged on my eyelid and made a bit thicker of a line than I wanted. Do damage control. I am gonna go ahead and switch back to the brush tip. The thing, look at that. Mwah. The thing about brush tips is that you can really utilize the very, very tip of the brush and it will create the thinnest line possible. I feel like when you try to use the tippy tip of the felt, it bends. Like it just doesn't lay product down as well. Okay, actually that's not too bad. It's just slightly thicker, so I'm gonna have to even this out. Okay, I think that's where I want to stop so that we don't end up in Pandaville. I will say that the liquid formula reminds me of the liquid breakup proof, but it doesn't say waterproof or anything, which means that it's probably not the same formula. Now there's no dedicated new mascara as part of this collection, but they are re-promoting Big Papa, and this is included in some of the collection bundles you can buy. Now, funny anecdote, I've always had kind of a fascination with Marilyn Monroe. My mom would play me her movies and her music as a kid, and I just thought she was so cool and so glamorous. And as a kid, I started to become like a little more interested in her life, and I would watch like documentaries, and I also had her autobiography. It might have been my mom's copy, but either way. So when I was in 8th grade, we had an assignment in English class to pick somebody that we consider to be a role model and write a paper about them. And we had to get the people we chose approved ahead of time. So I came to class and I was like, oh, I want to write about Marilyn Monroe. And my teacher was like, absolutely not. He's like, there's no way you're going to be able to write this paper about Marilyn Monroe being a role model because she wasn't. So please pick someone else. I was like, no, I think you're going to be surprised with what you read if you genuinely feel that way, because she was. And she can definitely still teach us a lot from things she said or did back in her time. And he's like, okay, I'll allow it, but just know that I'm going to be really scrutinizing of your paper. And if it's not like, meeting the criteria, like, I'll remember that we had this conversation and you had a chance to change your role model. And I was like, whatever, fine. So about a week goes by after I turn in my paper, and he pulls me aside in class during like independent study. I think we were all just reading or something. And he slides my paper across his desk. This is before everybody else has gotten their grades. And it has an A+ on it. Maybe it was like a 98% or something. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said, you totally proved me wrong. I learned so much about Marilyn from your paper that I went to go like seek more biographies about her. And I even had my daughter read your paper because I really liked, the things that you highlighted about her, and I thought that she could learn something. I mean, I didn't say I told you so to my teacher, but best believe I was thinking it. And I mean, that is exactly how Marilyn was underestimated her entire life, because she was beautiful, because she had sex appeal and played it up. She was underestimated and considered a bimbo and objectified when she had so much more substance to her that, people are surprised when they learn about it. Before feminism had like terms and buzzwords and whatever, she was expressing thoughts along the same lines and trying to call attention to feminist issues. But obviously this was before there was really any framework for her ideas and what she was trying to get across. But she fought for equal pay in the films that she was a part of. She fought for contract negotiation so that she could actually control her own career, so that she wouldn't be bound to one studio for all of her films. She also spoke out against toxic masculinity and violence, as well as abuse, both that she experienced as a child and in the industry. And I'm talking about like sexual harassment and sexual abuse. And that was really dang bold back in the day. We don't have a bronzer or contour as part of this palette, so I'm just gonna pull in my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer Contour Palette. Another fun fact is that Marilyn really helped Ella Fitzgerald get her foot in the door and become more of a mainstream artist. She helped her get booked at clubs that were hesitant to book Ella, whether it was because of her race, most likely because of her race, but also because visually she did not fit into the beauty ideal of a female performer. But Marilyn promised the club owners that if they booked Ella, she'd be front row every night, and she was. And obviously this caused a lot of press attention, and it really helped Ella get more eyes on her. So she was really a girl's girl. We love that. Okay, we have a blush as part of this collection. This is just called Rose. It's kind of a dusty rose, and I am seeing a bit of shimmer in there as well. The brand also sent me this brush. It's beautiful. It's kind of like an iridescent, diamondy looking brush, which reminds me of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, of course. Ooh, wait a second. This is the softest Wet n Wild brush I've ever felt. This is even softer than some of my Sigma brushes. Ooh, pretty. I really like the color. It is a very beautiful rose that's not too in your face, but I'm not a huge fan of how much glitter is in this. And I'm not just saying shimmer, I'm saying glitter. I don't know if the camera is gonna be able to pick it up, but there are a lot of glitter particles in this blush. I feel like I'm getting more glitter than I am color. It's not necessarily for me and my preference because I don't like super shimmery looks, especially if I've got so much going on the eyes already. I try to keep my face a little bit more understated. There are two highlights as part of this collection. We have this pink toned one called Peachy Pink. I think this would look great on tan to deeper skin tones. And then we have Cool Champagne, which is exactly what it sounds like. I believe with my skin tone, the Cool Champagne is going to work better. And this is also what I want to put on my brow bone. We're gonna circle back to the eyes. Now this also looks pretty darn sparkly, so we'll see how much of that is like a beaming glow and how much of it is just sparkly. Definitely sparkly, but I'm glad to see that there's pigment behind it. I'm a little disappointed so far in the face products. I just don't see why there would be so much shimmer. Is it just to make it more interesting? Because I don't think Marilyn had much of a shimmery face. In fact, most of her makeup, like was popular at the time, was matte looking. I'm not understand. That's a very high impact highlight for sure, but I'm not understanding all of the glitter. I'm gonna try to soften that up with just a clean powder brush. Like, it's impactful. I could see myself wearing this to a concert, but just when I thought that this collection was for like basics, iconic shades and makeup that, you know, will create this timeless look, I don't see the blush and highlight being a fit for that theme. I'm sure that someone will like it. I just don't feel like it's super cohesive. Because if you look at the rest of the collection, it's really easy to say like, these are just basic neutrals. Like, they're not really anything new or groundbreaking, which is true. But I thought the whole point of the collection was to recreate that timeless look and have these super versatile products. Oh, that looks great on the brow bone. I will say that. Just because it's not as, you know, concentrated. Now, as part of this collection, we also have a powder, and it's labeled translucent, but it says it's a luminous setting powder. And I'm afraid with all of this shimmer we have going on that this is gonna just bring us super over the top. I do want to try it though, and like, I don't mind a luminous setting powder with my normal products that aren't packed with shimmer because it does add just enough. I just feel like we're already quite luminous. I'm gonna use this gorgeous little old-fashioned powder puff that they included. Oh, no, 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 no. It is absolutely filled with shimmer. Okay, I'm gonna even it out, but I'm gonna be incredibly light with this. See, this would be really pretty paired with the right products. This would also be very, very pretty on like the décolletage area. That I can see myself probably using this the most for like special events if I'm wearing a nice dress, low cut. I see more of a use for this luminous setting powder that does have sparkle to it versus the blush and highlight that are just a little bit over the top for me. All right, down to the lips, which is probably the most iconic part of this look, of course, because Marilyn is known for this, you know, light eye, very sultry, simple, but you got that beautiful, bold red lip. And we do have 4 products to help achieve the look. We have a lip liner, a lip gloss, and then a bullet lipstick and a lip balm. I do want to swatch the balm because it looks like it's got glitter. It has this sort of peachy tint to it, but do you see that shimmer inside? Let's check it out. Oh, it feels good. It's nice and slippy. Oh, and there's definitely a tint to it actually. Very, very sparkly. Okay, wait, ugh, I gotta put this on my lips. It looks really pretty. We can always take it off. Oh, that smell is interesting. Oh, is this I think this is a pH lip balm. I didn't read it. This might be a pH lip balm because it's going on my lips, very pink, and it looks like that type of shade. The shimmer's also not overwhelming in the balm. It feels good. Okay, but this smells very strongly of artificial roses, and I'm already kind of getting a headache from it. I feel like rose is such a delicate scent. It can just go wrong so easily, and this has gone wrong for me. It's just got that fakey rose vibe that it smells like a very old-fashioned perfume, which I guess fits the theme, but it's not pleasant at all. Oh my goodness, I really hope that the other lip products don't smell like this. All right, let's hope. Let's cross our fingers. I'm gonna use the lip liner. We've got a really nice retractable style here. I'm assuming this is gonna be a blue-based red because I feel like that's what Marilyn is known for wearing. This is a really sharp liner. The tip is super precise. It is gliding on with so much pigment. Okay, I really like this liner formula. I don't know if this is similar to a product that Wet n Wild sells outside of this collection, but I feel like this is the perfect liner formula because it's creamy and soft enough to get a lot of color down, and it glides and it doesn't tug, but it's not so creamy or so soft that, one, I don't feel like the tip is breaking, but two, sometimes liners are almost too creamy that they end up like smudging right away and you have less control with them because they're so soft on the lips. And this, I don't feel like it has that. I feel like it's setting pretty quickly and I have so much control. Now moving on to the lipstick. This doesn't actually have like a shade name to it, so it's just Marilyn Red, I guess. The lipstick is feeling a lot more warm toned. Yeah, I feel like they're kind of competing a little bit. I definitely prefer a blue toned lip. Now this is a really slick formula. It doesn't remind me of their Mega Last matte formula, and it doesn't remind me of the Mega Last Shine formula either. I don't know how I feel about that one, and it's for sure a shiny finish. So gloss might even be pushing it a little bit, but let's try it out. And see, the gloss I think is more blue toned again. So strange. Yeah, the lipstick definitely had a lot of shine to it, but this adds that wet lacquer look. I'm almost scared that the lipstick is so wet that it's migrating in toward my teeth. That's why I gotta do the good old finger swipe. You know what? I wanna experiment with something. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm just taking off like the inner portion where I did put that lipstick. I'm gonna try to keep as much of that outer liner as possible. Okay, I'm gonna touch up with the liner, but also fill my lip completely in with it. Done with that. Now I'm gonna top this with the lip gloss. Yeah, I like that better. That just in general, I don't know why it feels more comfortable to me. I feel like having all three on was a recipe for smearing. So I would recommend either using these two or these two, not all three, but the liner and gloss, I feel like are a closer shade match to each other. Liner, gloss, lipstick. Lipstick is definitely leaning warmer. I would actually say the liner is somewhere in the middle. It's a little bit more of a neutral red, but that gloss is definitely more blue based. Well, I gotta say, I love the finished look. This is exactly the type of look I had in mind when I unboxed this collection. Something simple but elegant, something that's gonna look great on a lot of people. But with that said, I do want to know, is this collection exciting enough for you to be interested in? Because I definitely already hear the argument of, well, this is just some really basic neutrals with Marilyn Monroe on the packaging. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Today's shout out goes to Te Doi Mis Ojos. Thanks for being a member of the Slashed Squad. And join me over in this video next where I try the TikTok viral Subtle Stack Makeup Collection. I'll see you over there. Bye!